just gonna get the fire on. All right, so I'm gonna tell you what we're doing here. This is the crunchy component of one of the small desserts we're doing tonight. So we're doing a white chocolate sake cream. So you have something that's fatty and something that's full body and floral. We're using Junmai sake from Japan. That's gonna be accompanied with shiso gelée, which is gonna be herbaceous. Shiso is Japanese mint. And with yuzu scented berries. Yuzu is a very small Japanese citrus, highly acidic. Putting that with a little simple syrup and xanthan gum to thicken it. So there you have sweet and sour, and we need a salty component. This is going to be salted toffee. It's almost even parts butter and sugar. So what we're pretty much gonna do is caramelize this. So this is gonna set up, and then we're gonna chop it up, and then put it on top as a crispy component. So whenever you do a dessert, or have a pastry or anything sweet, for me, you always need multiple textures. You know, it's the 3 T's, taste, texture, and temperature. So just like anything, when you're using a tremendous amount of fat, and since this is 50/50 fat and sugar, you wanna constantly be whisking and emulsifying. When you emulsify something, it's gonna look opaque. And when it's not emulsified, it's gonna look broken. So we're gonna constantly be whisking to always make sure it's a solid, somewhat opaque color. Since this is nice and strong, this should take about 5 minutes. So what we have in here, like I said, is just butter, sugar, and a little glucose. And what we have in that small container there is our salt and baking soda. The reason why we're using baking soda is that what makes toffee and caramel completely different is that we're adding an acid. So when you add the acid to the caramel, it's going to create oxygen and puff up, like you'll see in a few minutes. And that's going to give it a different crunchy texture. As you can see in here, you guys could take a little peek. It's nice and opaque. It's not separated at all. It's going to start caramelizing. This is good exercise for your arms and forearms because you have to always be whisking. So actually the first time I did this recipe was in culinary school 20 years ago. And it's one of my favorite recipes that I do everywhere. What we're looking for is a dark amber. You're going to shut the heat off at medium amber. It keeps on cooking after you shut the heat off. That's really important to know. What's happening now is because we're cooking it, the water in the butter is evaporating. And you can see it's starting to become like a sort of a dry mixture. And then we're going to start getting some color. So you see how it's sort of like expanding a little bit? And if you ever do this at home, always be super careful because this is hot. And you do not want to get this on your skin. Of course, this recipe is in my book, Liquorland Asian Accented Desserts, which you can buy on Amazon and my website. You see you got the first smoke. They're going to be 2 smokes and whenever you make any caramel. Now remember, you control the heat. Don't let the heat control you whenever you're cooking sugar. I pulled it off because I started turning a little color. Started turning caramel color. So I want to pull it off so a little deeper in amber slowly. If it goes too fast, you're going to burn it. And if you burn it, it's going to be a disaster in your house, believe me. Because that was so hot. Now actually we're pretty close to the color we want. You see that it's like, I don't know if the light's in here, it's amber caramel. See that? We're just going to keep on whisking and let it cool it down a little bit. Then this is the baking soda and salt. We're going to add this in last. Okay. Then whisk fast. And then we're going to pour it out. So you see how it's sort of puffy? That's because of the baking soda, because there's oxygen caught inside. I mean, just, you can tap it, you see it'll deflate a little bit. So this, we're actually just going to let get hard in about 15 minutes. Then we're going to chop it up and it's going to be super crispy. So we're going to actually put this outside on the cold table so it cools down fast so you can see it quick. So follow me. So you're going to let that cool down. Then we're just going to chop it up and that's your salted toffee. You could already see the edges firming up a little actually. That's good. And chop that up soon.